infrequent changes which can be deployed into the productions without interruption of the existing services. That can be done as part of the operation management. And coming to the defined mechanism, so here we can track or audit or rollback or review all this kind of a thing. So you have something to track in the application which has been deployed, or you wanted to audit something, or you wanted to roll back a couple of services which is being deployed into the cloud. So those kind of a mechanism should be in place. It should be defined, mechanism should be in place, right? And even when you wanted to review the existing cloud, or the existing architecture which is being put into the production, so this should also be part of your defined mechanism as part of the operation management. And coming to the changes are not large or infrequent, so you shouldn't be planning for a large change should go to the production at the same time, right? So there are it's very I mean, we shouldn't be planning large. Instead, you should make it as a different chunks and plan those changes and moving into the production, as we have talked about here, small frequent changes, instead of going with the large. If you go with the large change at the same time, you don't know which service is giving that failure, and which is not recommendable. And you shouldn't be planning very I mean, frequent changes which should be part of operations management. You should not doing very frequent changes into the production, and require scheduled downtime, and require manual executions. So you shouldn't be doing I mean, scheduled downtime. Okay, you shouldn't be doing the scheduled downtime without in a different intervals, right? So you should have the specific time where you don't where the business is not impacting much. Then you should plan for that particular scheduled downtime, and also you should inform your business well in advance. And require manual executions. As much as possible, you should avoid 100% manual executions. Everything should be done through the automation, the AWS services which have been deployed into the cloud, right? And coming to the, you can set up continuous integrations and continuous deployment, CI/CD. These days, nowadays, like in the fast pace of development, or if you are wanted to do the development along with the uh, okay, yeah, fast pace of development and all these things into the production. One second, I have something stopping here. Okay. If you wanted to do continuous integration and the continuous deployment, so you would be Imagine Web Services will give you that option, where your source code and repository and build systems, deployments, and testing automation. You can have a different CI/CD for your development, your SAT environment, and once you have everything ready, you can plan for your production of using your CI/CD, instead of putting much effort on the integration part and also the deployment portion of it, right? So these are the features which has been given as part of one of the operational management. And the release management processes, whether manual or automated, all this should be tested based on the small incremental changes and tracked versions. So it's always better to have as much as possible, you should all cut down your changes into the small incremental changes, and track all the versions of it. In which version you should be in a position to say in which version which change has been moved into the production. Was it completely working perfectly, or is there any kind of a failure happened because of that particular change which has been into production? So where you'll have the control of, if any failure happens, you should be having the rollback plan in order to change that things back to the normal, which you even can say like to the previous state where that system is working reliably without any failures. And coming to the next point, there is a A/B testing, all these kind of risk mitigation strategies which we need to follow when we are doing quality assurance. And like any kind of aggregate logs, or for centralized monitoring alerts, all these things will be taken care into the AWS services. Uh, Why? Because as we discussed earlier, we need to know, like, if any failure happens, the logs are the one which will be uh, only one of the source to figure out which service has gone wrong and what is a failure for that particular cause. So those things can be you can sort it out. You can figure it out from the logging mechanism. And you should always make sure that you will have the alert triggered automated responses, and any kind of notifications that you wanted to give it to the user, or any kind of escalations especially, right? Those are kind of alerts and everything should be in place, and all your kind of monitoring for anomalies, not just for any kind of a failures, only even anomalies, a kind of a system behavior. You should be in a position to get the monitoring alert to see why that particular system is behaving abnormally. Okay. And coming to the responses to unexpected operational events, should be automated. So when it comes to the responses, here we have tracked into the different areas like automation, alerts, QA, responses, and tools. When it comes to automation, we'll talk about what are the particular things which will be taken as part of automation, which is mitigation, remediation, rollback, and recovery will be coming under the as part of the automation. Mitigation, we have seen, like, if we know something failure will happen, we should be having the plan in place to mitigate any failures with that particular instance or the scenarios which has been designed at the earlier stage of cloud deployment, right? And and also you should be in a position to roll back all the changes to the previous state wherever your system is working perfectly. And recovery, so when you wanted to recover particular data being lost, right? This also we have discussed in one of the previous slide. Your particular data has lost, and there is a system which will take the data from the backup, which is the replica of the data, and it will create your particular database and put it the data for your future use. So it will recover that particular system for you to see the data. All these things should be part of your automation. When it comes to alerts, there is a timely alerts, there is a invoke escalations. Just give me a minute. Okay, the timely alerts, what it does, so you can set some alerts on a timely different intervals, like 24/7. Depends on the business needs, right? So those kind of alerts, if there is a kind of failures which is been already been happening, or uh, like your load, if any kind of escalations needs to be made, depending on the when we are hitting particular threshold point which was set in the system. So those kind of alerts has to go as part of the system. And rollback failed deployments, which is as part of the QA. Rollback failed deployment. So the AWS, the feature, the service should be in a place. The rollback failed for any kind of deployments. It should take you back to the uh, 1 second. Okay, yeah. So when you are planning some deployment into the service in the during the operational event, right? And there will be a mechanism should be in place to roll back all the failed deployments back to the normal state. That QA should be is one of the event automated. This should be automated. Why? Because we cannot have the manual intervention if there is any kind of failure happens, because there might be a threat that you lose the data during that deployment time, if there is a deployment is failed. And the responses, but for when it comes to the responses, we have already seen in a couple of examples earlier, like both the CloudWatch and Cloud Formations will give you the kind of alerts, and it will respond immediately to the user for any kind of a monitoring tool, right? And coming to the tools, centrally monitoring workloads, alerts, and notifications. So we have like different tools of monitoring purpose, and also like alerts and notifications, which should be configured as part of your response when it comes when you deploy any application to the cloud. So this is also one of the part as part of the operational unexpected operational events uh, to be taken care as part of the automation. Any questions so far, Patrick?
Uh, so I just want to stress that. So in one of the slides and all what you've explained up till now,
Uh-huh.
you said the five pillars, the most important five pillars
Right.
of AWS: reliability,
Mm-hmm.
uh, is security, reliability, uh, uh, um, performance efficiency,
Right.
and
Mhm.
then cost is it optimization?
This is what you're
Cost,
referring, right?
yes,
Yes, cost optimization and
and then
operation excellence.
operational excellence.
Yes,
Okay. Uh,
this is
so
we are talking about.
this
Mm.
so this these are the core principles. Are these the core principles of AWS to a customer?
Yeah, these are the best, I mean, major features that AWS provides to the end user or to the business as
Or
part
to
of,
the end users?
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the
Thank you.
security, reliability, performance efficiency, cost optimization, operation excellence. It's all like even from the build to even till the production support, everything. Yeah, all these services are taken care. Even we are talking about operation excellence as part of the deployments here, right? If any failure happens, how do we manage those things and all that? So I think I just skipped 2 slides further. Yep. So we are done till here. Okay. Coming to the next slide here, accessing more information. So there is a AWS Architecture Center in the AWS portal. What it does, what it gives you like a kind of guidance and application architecture, best practices which are being used in the different businesses, how it is being scalable, how it is being reliable applications in the AWS cloud, and what are the benefits where and customer is getting it when they're using the AWS architecture, and kind of a reference documents and all white papers are being available in the AWS website. I think you can go ahead and look at those white papers to understand what are the best practices, even like as I mentioned, like the like fault tolerance, even how the costing will be done much effective way using the AWS services. Depends on the different kind of a business that we are intended to work for. So those things will be kept freely available in the AWS portal. And coming to the case studies, so I think the case studies information is also very much information, like how the Netflix been popped out, and how Airbnb, Nokia, all these customers would be using AWS and how they are getting benefited on all this. What is that their kind of a bandwidth of the data, right? And how the data being stored into the AWS, and how they're getting benefit like using the most of the services, like the key services in the AWS. That I think those kind of a case studies you can get it. Like say if you have some business where you wanted to concentrate mostly on maybe video streaming, or else like mobile networking side, or kind of a online shopping. So you can choose a customer and see how what are the services that they have used, and what is the their business problem statement, how AWS helped them in getting into the solution with the different services which have been available in the AWS. I think all these things can be freely available for in the AWS side.